Scully and this is the Limerick Post Show. Coming up in today's show, the big interview is with the Prescription Centre and we found out all about how you can look after yourself in this coronavirus case. First up though, and the top stories in Limerick, and it has just been announced that schools are out. That includes creches. Also big events that hold over 100 people are all banned from 6 p.m. on Thursday, and we have not got a date of when things will be reopening. Also public transport routes will be affected, so make sure you check with your websites and online to see what exactly is going on. Next up, news also just in that the Great Limerick Run will be postponed and will be taking place now in October. Next up to our Out and About section, and Vlad came in to join us from HIPSTERireland.com to talk to us all about early music. I'm now joined in studio by Vlad of HIPSTER. Now tell us, first of all, what is HIPSTER?
HIPSTER is the historically informed performance series teaching education and research, HIPSTER.
Well, I did try actually learn it off, and I was saying I knew I was going to get tongue twisted trying to read that out, so I'm glad that you got through that so easily for me.
Yeah, it's a way to try to do what it says on the tin. It's a performance series of concerts that we're planning to have throughout the year, a series of courses as well, and outreach events, and it's all here rooted in Limerick and in the kind of metropolitan and greater Limerick area.
It's absolutely brilliant. Now, of course, we have some instruments in front of us which we're going to get to in a little while. Hurdy-gurdy, I believe, is the phrase you have. Is that what they're called?
Yes, these are hurdy-gurdies, a very silly name in English. It's got much prettier names in other languages, but they're two instruments that make an appearance sometimes at early music concerts.
Now, it's funny because hurdy-gurdies for me is a fun fair. I used to come to like my local parish back in the day.
Right, like an organ grinder kind of thing, probably, yeah.
I've gone about the hurdy-gurdies, but we're going to get to them in a little while. Do talk to it. It's the European Day of Early Music. I know it's in partnership with the European Expo for 2020, which is ongoing in Limerick.
So, yeah, we've been incredibly lucky to have the support, first of Limerick City and County Council and of the People's Museum, who are helping make it all possible. We've just partnered with European Expo, very exciting to be in partnership with them, and also with REMA, the European Early Music Network. Brilliant. And we'll also get some work done with the Treaty City Brewery. We'll have our pre-event launch there with medieval music and brew, and so plenty
it's a good mix.
Yes, it's a great mix, and it's a really logical mix with early music. Do you know about early music at all?
No, this is what I want to know about, how you got into early music.
Okay, well, early music, and for those who don't really know what I mean by early music, I don't mean that I get up at 5 and I practice only at that hour. I don't mean that I only teach music to small children. That's not that kind of early music. Early music is roughly music from the Middle Ages through to the Baroque period, classical as well. But it's not only the period, it's the way that you approach the music. So it's not approached the same exact way that it's done usually through conservatories of the standard kind. This is a specialized training that involves doing a lot of research, but also taking that research and letting the music come to life because of the research. You look in the books and you wonder why things were done a certain way during a certain time in history, and you do to the best of your ability that same thing nowadays.
Well, I'd imagine so. Early music, obviously, you're keeping it alive. Is there many people out there that are actively involved in early music, or is it kind of like a few of you just trying to keep it going?
Well, it's a movement that's happened a lot through history. I mean, it's happened in the 19th century that people were playing music by Bach and other composers from before. In Europe, this was happening, I'd say. And then throughout each century, like in the early 20th century, people were doing the same. Around Stravinsky's time, middle of the 20th, they were looking back at earlier composers too. It's kind of been going in cycles. And then towards the end of the 1900s, you'd say there was a revival, a real strong revival from the 60s onwards. I think it had to do with the 60s themselves, trying to be a bit countercultural, and it was, and still kind of sometimes is. But early music it's all about approach. It's also about instruments, the historical instruments that we play or that we sing with, in my case, that I sing with. So that's all part and parcel. It's more than just when the music's from. It's how you do it.
Okay, and as well about these instruments, obviously we don't see these in regular music shops. So where do you source these?
Yeah, well, these are usually sourced from players from makers that are specialized in making these types of instruments. This one here, this square hurdy-gurdy, it's a medieval sinfonia. That one was made by a maker in Wales. Who dedicates himself, actually it's a husband and wife team. They make hurdy-gurdies specifically, that's their thing, Chris Allen and Sabina Cormillo. The larger hurdy-gurdy that you might see a little bit in the front there is based on a model from medieval churches in Spain, from stone carvings.
Oh, wow.
And That one was researched by me and built by my brother and myself. And so some of these things you just have to go for it and just DIY. But of course, it involves some training.
Yeah.
There are other instruments that are going to be actually part of the instrument exhibit on the day. So we're talking about the 21st of March. This entire day, it's Bach's birthday. So it's
nicely done.
Yeah, and it's a spring equinox, hope springs eternal. And the European Day of Early Music happens every year. This is the 8th one, but it's the first time we have a real presence in Limerick, a full day dedicated to it. We start off the day with an instrument exhibit, 10 a.m., going on until 5, and then 3 concerts during the day, one at 11 of medieval music, one at 1, a recorder concert, then at 4 p.m. one with the viola da gamba, and then there's a historical dance workshop at 5:30 after the exhibit is closed down. People can do some dancing. We may have to dance at 1.5 meters distance from one another times that are coming, but then a reception afterwards at 8 p.m. To help us celebrate our new organization, myself and my partner, Yonit Kosovsky.
Amazing. Now, they may have not had hand sanitizer back then, but we have it now, so
yes,
it's okay.
And I will add that we were hoping that people could have what we call instrument petting zoo, but I think they're going to have to just stay in their cages, and people can see us demonstrate the instruments, ask us any questions they want about instruments, how they're made, who builds them, all these things that you're telling your viewers now.
Absolutely incredible. And as you said, Saturday, 21st of March, People's Museum of Limerick, that's in Perry Square. So a full day of adventure and I suppose a trip down memory lane. Going
Definitely.
right back.
We're talking about centuries back. So this is going to be music from 1,000 years until today.
Yeah. Wow. Well, I think it's about time we make use of these beautiful instruments here, the hurdy-gurdies. I know before we went on air, you were tuning them up and getting them ready. So, what is the process with them? I know that you can open this one up and it has strings and everything. And as I said, you had to tune it up.
So, hurdy-gurdy has a lot of bits on the inside. If I take off the cover, you can see it's got the main parts are this crank that turns a wheel. Now, it's like a violin with a wheel, a mechanical violin. So the crank turns the wheel, which moves, which has got rosin on the edge. That rosin on the edge is rubbing against strings that have cotton. So instead of horsehair, like on a bow, there's cotton on the strings. And I have one string here that plays the melody and a few drone strings, so you'll get to hear drones, kind of like on pipes and other drone instruments. These little things here, these flags, are called tangents, and they touch the string in different places the same way that you would with a guitar, violin, any other instrument. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Are you going to give us a belt of a tune?
Yeah, sure.
So it has to be... Okay, this one closes back up again.
Usually it can be closed. Yeah. I could keep it open. Just for the crack, huh? I on the skelvin se me saberedes dizer onde mai meu amigo sen mi.
Wow. It has a really powerful sound to it, doesn't it? And then the singing as well.
Yeah, it's a sound that is pretty unique because, to get gut strings going all at the same time, drones and all.
But even to learn this, 'cause obviously, as you said, I'm sure, to learn everything about it, and then for it to be so old, it's not like you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Has anyone put up YouTube lessons yet? But I'd imagine it's hard to find.
No, it's not that hard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, look up hurdy-gurdy, and you'll see everything from Metallica to.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, to trad music to medieval music. In fact, possibly by now, the least that you're finding is this slightly more research stuff.
Okay.
It's kind of more, the party and fun stuff, but. As long as curious instruments are being publicized, we hope that has a little knock-on effect, that it brings people to us so that the music that we're doing, the poetry that we get to sing and the beautiful pieces we get to play, we can share with as many people out there as possible.
And if we do want to get involved, or if there's ways, is there a way to do a website, special website, or a Facebook page that
Absolutely.
we can reach out to?
Yeah, you can find us online, hipsterireland.com. So you might find some beards and some flat whites and some mustaches, but more than anything, you'll find early music, what we're doing, the courses we'll have, concerts we've been putting on and will be putting on throughout the year. And so hipsterireland.com, we have tickets for all our events on Eventbrite.
Amazing.
And also social media, of course. We are hipsters in that sense, that we can get ourselves on social presence throughout the Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just go ahead and follow us, Hipster Ireland, and Now and Then Media, which is our kind of company that manages it all.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Like, it's just amazing to see, and I think even just to learn about these instruments that I'll hand on heart, I've never heard of until this moment. So thank you so much for introducing me to it.
Yeah.
And I said, look forward to this event. As I said, March 21st, People's Museum, as I said, and now and then media.eventbrite.ie for tickets.
That's it.
Vlad, thanks so much for chatting to us in the Limerick Post Show and for opening us up to this world of early music. And as I said, not 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. music, actually
That's
music
right.
from the early centuries.
Thanks so much.
It's been a pleasure to talk to you.
My pleasure.
Thank you. We're here in the Prescription Centre and I'm joined by Angelina and Sarah, and we're going to talk about the big C word, the coronavirus that everyone is, I suppose, talking about, learning about. A lot of people are very scared. So as we've learned, people now know how to finally wash their hands properly. But what else should people be doing?
So they need to stay at home if they're feeling sick and not to be in contact with other people, to check with their GP. And also it's very important to, if they feel sick, if they're sneezing or coughing, to cough into a tissue and dispose of the tissue straight away.
And what do you think about face masks? Are they worth getting, or should people be investing in them?
Face masks could help you if you're sick, passing it on to other people, but if you want to wear it as a preventative, it may not be effective. The jury's still out on that.
I know a lot of people are saying, I can beat a common cold and flu, I'm very healthy, there's nothing wrong with me, but what we're thinking about here is the people who are vulnerable. There's a lot of people out there who are sick, young, elderly people who won't be able to fight this cold and flu.
Yeah, I would advise them to stay at home and have plenty of sanitizer, and if you haven't the hand sanitizer, just make sure you wash your hands, and just avoid having people come into the house if they're going through chemotherapy or if they're on high immunosuppressant drugs. So that's it for the elderly and for the most vulnerable patients,
Also, I know a lot of people are saying to stockpile now. We've seen people stockpile on toilet paper, on food, on pasta, on tinned goods. We're running out of them in our stores. But what about coming into the pharmacy? What are the products that we should be getting?
Okay, I would recommend they boost their immune system, just the basic, and it's the old reliable, the vitamin C with zinc, and there's a great product, it's called Immune C. It's a drink, it's a really nice drink, it's one a day, just to boost the immune system. Have your paracetamol, have your Calpol for the kids, and that's it really, not to stockpile. Like in medicines, there's no problem with medicine shortages at the minute, so not to panic.
Absolutely. I think that's the main message we want to get across today, is not to panic. I'm sure you have a lot of people coming in who are probably very nervous, but I guess the main thing is that we need people to kind of stay calm.
Indeed, mostly it tends to be a mild illness. Usually for about 80% of people, it's just some people it can end up being worse. Generally, people who are older or more vulnerable with immune systems and that. But as long as they're taking the advice of, washing their hands, disinfecting surfaces, staying away from people who are sick, that's the best thing they can do to protect themselves.
Angelina and Sarah from the Prescription Centre, thank you so much for chatting to us today.
Thanks a million, Meghann. Thank you. Thanks.
For these stories and so much more, and to keep up with everything COVID-19, head over to limerickpost.ie/show. I'm Meghann Scully. This is the Limerick Post Show, keeping Limerick posted.